Next Fest is Above the Snow. So this is a demo of Above the Snow. It is a beta build. It did warn us right at the beginning being, hey, this is a beta build. Expect some balance problems, expect some bugs, expect some placeholder assets. The very typical. So one thing I'm going to do is, before we get into this, so Above the Snow, from my understanding of what this game is you run a rescue lodge. So the way to think about it is you've got like your ski lodges and your resorts and all that kind of stuff. A rescue lodge isn't that kind of thing. A rescue lodge is usually higher up in the mountains and all that, that basically when people go mountain climbing and hiking and all those things, and something goes wrong, they're where they ultimately take you so you can, hopefully get, basic immediate care until you can get taken properly out to like a hospital or whatever. Now, that said, I don't know that's 100%, that's my I read the description and that's all I know kind of thing. I'm under the impression that this game, it's not a tycoon, but it kind of plays along there.
Thank you, JD2B0, for subscribing for 26 months. Yay, almost 30.
Thank you, JD, for the Prime Gaming sub. You'll get one of those a month, and you used it here, and I really do appreciate it, so thank you so much for that. Been subbed to the last 26 months on stuff, so I really do appreciate that. Thanks so much for that. On that note, we did hit our plus points for February, that we've hit our 100. That was yesterday that happened. So that means we're locked in all the way to not this coming March, but March next year, that we don't have to worry about that. So thank you so much for that. That means I don't have to get down to the last couple of months and start really stressing out about it. Because it is genuinely a thing that if that falls off, like where I don't get it picked back up by the time of that next year, it basically is like a 20% pay cut from everything on Twitch. Because I'll go from my 60-40 split down to a 50-50 split. And so when you get to those last couple of months, if you haven't got it locked in, you start like sweating buckets because, losing 20% of a main part of your income is terrifying. But luckily that hasn't happened. Like since we got into the 60-40 split, we've maintained it. We have had to do a push to re-up it before, but since that happened, you've all been very generous in keeping it going. So that's just a big stressor off my back I don't have to think about. Because very much when you get down to that last month or two where you're like, oh man, if this doesn't happen, if we miss this month, suddenly it's this huge hit. You start losing sleep and everything over the stress. So thank you so much for that, because that means I don't have to worry about that. Having a full year of not having to think about it is really good in my book. Anyways, back to the game. So what we're going to do is, like all these, I'm going to check the settings. As a reminder, this is a beta, it is a demo. There's probably going to be a lot of settings missing here. We've been impressed so far. So far, of the demos we've done, the first demo blew my mind. It had screen shake, lock, the checkbox. It had all these other things for the different graphic settings for the abrasion and all that. That it had all sorts of settings like that right from the get-go in a demo. Multiple keyboard layout supports in an alpha version. And it just makes a bunch of AA and AAA companies look really, really bad that a tiny little indie game developer can handle that crap. But someone who's got thousands of people to throw at it, putting a tick box to make the screen not shake is too much. And to be clear, there's a lot of AAA and AA who do handle it. I'm more calling out the ones that, you got the resources, man. Just do it right. So with this, we don't have anything obvious here. We got some, hardware settings and all that, frame rate settings, so nothing really accessibility here, but, lowering system requirements so that if you're pushing the limits of your computer, we got basic volume stuff. I'm going to lower that a little bit more. We got multiple language support, which looks like Portuguese, Chinese, maybe Japanese, Korean. Okay, there's actually a good, 8 languages. That's pretty good, considering, again, this is a super early version. Alright, so let's go ahead and start a new game. Let's see what we're in for. Campaign, The Original Experience. Original Above the Snow campaign, story of Korotan Ascend Shelter. Take on Winter of the Century, survive the chaos, become the best shelter in the Alps. Recommended for your first ATS playthrough. I know the name of the game is Above the Snow, and we're playing this in the context of Above the Snow, so the use of the abbreviation ATS is absolutely acceptable. I can't help but look at that and read American Truck Simulator, just because that's what I associate with ATS, which is a me problem, to be clear, I also would challenge the devs here. Why abbreviate it? Just saying. You got the screen real estate. You can just say above the snow. It's okay. It means I have to put 0 brain cells onto noticing, oh right, above the snow. I don't have to do that translation. So, first feedback, don't bother with the acronym. Unless you're going to be using that acronym a lot in the game, which I would discourage, just say above the snow. Just like it is right there. You're good. Or do above the snow parentheses ATS or ATS parentheses above the snow to help me notice that. Again, it's not a problem. Like, it only took me a second to figure that out. But there's no need for it. Oh yeah, no, JD, 100% happens because within the office, you'll get to the point of calling it by the acronym and just put it in the game without thinking about it.
Francis, my friend, how many chances have I given you, only for you to waste them? What was so unclear in my instructions? What did you expect, walking in there alone?
I truly regret it. I want to fix it. Undo it. Is there any chance?
A chance? In my world, every favor's a tab you'll have to settle. Say, have you ever been to the Alps? In the Swiss part, there's a place, the Corrodon region. Massive ridges stretching between 3 valleys. Cold enough to cut through bone, but beautiful. Those places aren't for me, but maybe you'll learn to appreciate the mountains.
And what exactly would I be doing there?
Ever heard of mountain shelters, Francis?
Shelters? Like the ones for animals?
No, my friend. Out there, any spot you can call safe is worth its weight in gold. Mountain trails wind on through cold winds and blinding blizzards. Out there, even the echo seems too frightened to speak back. In the middle of all that chaos, brave alpinists built shelters. Little havens for those heading toward the summit. The only warm places in those vast, dreamy lands.
Where exactly are you going with this?
Slowly, first things first, get rid of that damn bag.
Okay, so some immediate feedback to the devs, and this is not like, don't take this as a slap, because a lot of times this happens. Very clearly, your audio settings for the entire rest of the game are not being applied to that video. It needs to have the audio channels for your music and voice and all that, so we can separate that out. That's one thing. But by God, that was so loud. You notice when I started the game, I had to drop the audio down to 30% because my headset setup and all that for stream and all that, and that's not uncommon. And sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes people need to turn the volume up. But yeah, so the big thing there is your cinematics need to use whatever volume settings the rest of your game does. Because a lot of us gotta get over here, and if you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube later, basically half of chat was going, oh my god, it's so loud. And I actually had to go in and lower the volume on it, honestly about, 50% to make it, and it was still very loud, but to make it, like, listenable. Again, this is something that happens all the time, but it is a problem. So please, let us adjust all that stuff. Please let us adjust that, because that is a very common issue. But it is the kind of issue that will get people to, like, boot up your game, get hit with that, and again in your demo, and be like, nope, and go out. Now, it's worse if it's not in the cinematic, it's just in the regular game. Like, you could, like, we've had games where I could turn the volume off, and it still plays in the game. I've had that a lot of times. That's, like, 1,000 times worse. But yeah, so just, that's also, like, you could accidentally damage someone's hearing. You notice I was, like, holding my headset off my ears and all that, because it was, like, I can lower it for all of you easily, For me to lower it, I have to go into like window settings and all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of pulled my headset off and let it play. For those who missed what that was, the story, I don't know if the person we were talking to, either way, it's like our dad or a parental figure, whether they're like biologic or whatever, that the implication is we have messed up a bunch of times and daddy's not happy with us. I don't know if he's just someone who's got money or he's mob or what the deal is there, because it had like a very strong like mob vibe without ever really saying anything mob-ish. And the bag in the corner, I don't know if that was intended to be a body bag or just like a regular old like duffel bag kind of thing. It wasn't very clear. So I'm kind of wondering if we are in a crime family or whatever, and we're just like the one kid who just couldn't get it right, and the dad just like, go out to the mounds, basically kind of sending us out here to an area that's incredibly harsh. Because, like, don't get me wrong, the Swiss Alps are beautiful and all that, but we're going up to a shelter that's a really rough area, like where if things go wrong, you're in a very inhospitable place. Like, going up to the snow-covered mountains for, you know, to your ski lodge or whatever is great. But this is... He's a small businessman, owns the entire Alps. But yeah, it definitely seems like he's setting you up, not as a, like, to be a fall guy or whatever, to be like, hey, you're this screw-up kid, here's this thing, you know, this is a place that, you know, makes or breaks people, you'll learn something. That's the implication, that he's not ill will against us, that our parental figure is figuring this will be a way to straighten out whatever our issue is that we keep screwing up. Because they didn't go into details of how we screw up. So we need to name our shelter. We're gonna go with Ethicalish Heights. Here, manage this baseball team? Pretty much. Cold as hell. What did you expect from the mountains this time of year, genius? I don't know. Half the night we're talking about cozy hotels and blankets and tea with honey. And have a whole month to get your blankets and tea. In seasons, in a season, this shelter's supposed to be running like clockwork. Pedro wants it to be the most popular spot in the region. Okay, so we are making like a ski lodge kind of thing. Alright, so we're not making like the shelter I first thought that is a rescue shelter. It was more about humanitarian things. We are making a place for people to come together. That's cool. Then we got a lot of work ahead of us. Renovate the whole place, draw the trails, build up the reputation. Makes you wonder if it's even doable as much as such a small team. I have no idea, but what choice do we have? If we fail, the only warm thing you'll get is prison porridge. Fair point. All right, let's take a look at the map and figure out how we even get to this shelter. Okay, so that definitely aligns with we got that vibe of the mob boss. So I think what's actually happening here is we've screwed up and Dad's hiding us. Dad's putting us out in the butt end of nowhere so that we can just lay low and hopefully continuing to live our life. Because whatever we did, we messed up. Which tells me in the story that's certainly going to come back to haunt us. Welcome to Above the Snow. You can revisit all the coming tutorials by clicking on the compendium button. Click on the compendium button. Tutorial will guide you through the technical aspects of the game. Remember, you can always revisit the tutorial by clicking on the icon in the top left. To close this window and continue, click on the red X in the right corner. Not actually making negative feedback or anything, but that's a white X. Just to be clear, this X, that's white in a red circle. It's fine. You can freely move the camera holding right mouse button moving or using WASD. You can rotate using the middle mouse button or Q and E buttons and zoom and scroll wheel. And it's working with not QWERTY. The red background X. That would be the malicious compliance result. Pedro mentioned his brother's hovel is somewhere out here. Looks like quite a hike. Eva, where'd you go? Here, I found us a guide. Hi, my name is Marek Kaminsky. Eva asked me to run some training for you. You didn't mention we'd have company. Relax, Merrick's solid. We've done a few climbs together. He's a world-class pro. Appreciate it. I'll get you started. Real work's on you. And trust me, there will be plenty of it. If you want to be the best, there are no shortcuts. Eva, you're not worried you'll find about my little deal? Merrick's been my friend for years. You got nothing to worry about. With him teaching, we'll have this place up and running in no time. Oh, I missed it. I missed Francis, and they're a couple. That's like our, that's like our wife or something, because they're the same last name. Okay, so we screwed up, because we're Francis Harland, based on the opening cinematic. So we're the ones who messed up. We're in some kind of legal trouble, and then Dad has sent us out in the hills. And then we've taken what I presume is our wife with us. Yeah, it could be sister as well. I mean, sure. That is also possible. But it's hard to tell. But we do have the last name, so we are family in some capacity. So what's the plan, Mr. Kaminsky? How do we get to the lodge? If we arrive with all our fingers and toes, we'll need to pick the right route. Wait, with all our fingers? What, you'd rather come back with frostbite? Preferably not. That's what the route needs planning. Let's take a look at the map. Yes. I see 2 marked national trails leading there, one from town and one from the market. Sounds like good news? Definitely. Means we won't have to cut our way through the wilderness. Less risk that way. And as the saying going, being a good climber isn't the trick. A real trick is being an old one. That's like when people shake their head, yes in agreement. Shaking their head is a no signal. Nodding is a positive signal. Because they die. Exactly. The implicit is like, the only way you become an old climber is going through all that. Time controls. Sometimes you will need to wait for something to happen. Click here to pause, play, or speed up time. Set the speed to 3 to continue. Ugh, that's steep. So we're definitely going to have logistics going on here. We made it. Good work. You said it was going to be easy, Merrick. I said we wouldn't have to cut the trail. These paths haven't been used in years. Francis, didn't you brag about being in peak condition? Peak condition? Hilarious. Really, absolutely hilarious. Let's look around. Allegedly, Pedro's brother still runs this dump. Judging by the state of it, I'm starting to doubt anyone's running anything here. Click on the button to continue. Shelter. Okay. To switch the shelter's yard... Let's see. To switch shelter's yard and its individual floors, use the buttons up and down on the left side of the screen. Hold shift and use scroll mouse button or click the tab button. To switch between shelter map and the trail, use M or the side button. Okay. Francis, there's no one here. This place looks abandoned for years. Well, it's not what I was expecting. You're not wrong. And who the hell are you? Here, my card, Raymond Lyon. I'm gathering material for a documentary on the region's history. Corotanner Journal? The press cares about this? I thought nobody from the city bothered coming up here. Mountaineering's only getting more popular, and these are some of the highest peaks in this part of the Alps. The Corotan valleys are overlooked. One good story could change that. And I'm guessing the city gave you a mountain of cash to fund this? Not exactly. The city budget's a mess. I'm doing this after hours in my own time. Admirable. Wasting your free time on this. Which is why I should be heading out. No owner around here means no story to chase. If you don't want to spend the night out in the wild, I suggest you do the same. Take care. Strange. No message, no nothing. Pedro and Nicholas were writing letters. Sadly, people vanishing in the mountains isn't rare, especially when they head out alone. We should fix the radio tower to alert the city. Okay. Yard view, so you can click to the yard view. Each building has its own durability affected by weather. When it drops to 0, the building stops functioning. To repair it, select the building and assign a worker to the repair slot. So we click on that. If that's fair. And it looks like between... I'm not sure if it's telling me to do Francis just because Francis is the more appropriate person or whatever. Because I'm assuming the gear is the repair. Well, actually, no, then Eve would be the repair. Select the worker from the list. They will start working as soon as they get to the task location.
Chop, chop.
So another comment is I'd really like to angle the camera up or down, but that doesn't seem to be an option. Now, I get it if you look at the distance and there's nothing there and all that, but like it feels like I want to seize a building, and I just cannot tip my camera up or down. So weather station is not built. I've lost track of Francis. Oh, I guess he's already up there, maybe. I don't know. Building broken down. It is not... Okay, so while we wait, let's have Eva work on that. It says unpause to refine. To do that, we are not paused. Oh, weird. And if I zoom in, it does let me do the camera. That's weird. I would really like to be more zoomed out and able to pan the camera. Not the first game I've run into this, but it is still frustrating. Use in every task recovers by resting. Okay, so it looks like we got like a stamina energy or whatever you want to call that bar. That when we assign people to do tasks like repair things, and I assume like cutting trails or whatever, it will slowly drain, and then you will have to have them like step away from doing whatever that task is to do something else, to rest. This is like playing Hotel Tycoon with the UI from Desperados. I haven't played Desperados, but yeah. Maybe to hide the lack of background. Yeah, no, that was my thought, but it's like I can zoom in and peek around anyways. The radio tower is a key element of development of the shelter. It allows you to use a tech tree to unlock various services, good, or technology. Without a working radio tower, guest morale falls, and you will lose access to the tech tree. Oh, that's interesting. The tower's up. We can finally call the city, and... Easy, boy. Who the hell are you? Speak up quick. Brutus hasn't had his dinner after all his walk yet. Well, if he eats me, at least I don't have to hike back down that trail. We're terribly sorry, sir. The shelter looked deserted. We thought something happened to you. I'm Evie Harland, and this is my cousin, Francis. Okay, so they're cousins. They're not brother and sister. They're not a married couple. They're cousins. Harland, you said? So you did get Pedro's letter, huh? I did, and I'm not changing my mind. I don't need a bunch of amateurs around here. I can take care of myself. Yourself, sure, old man, but the hotel, not so much. This place looks like a dustbin with windows. Francis? How dare you, brat? If you read the letter, you'd know what our plan is. And since you're still here, it means our deal still has a chance. Not if I sick a dog on you. Shelter's mine. Nobody tells me what goes on here, not even Pedro. I think we may have started off on the wrong foot. Mr. Nicholas, I truly apologize for barging in. We came here to offer help. I've got plenty of mountain experience, and Francis, he's quite strong, and he can help with running errands. Don't care about... Hold on. Who's that sneaking around in the dining room? That's Marek Kaminsky, our expert. He's here to help us get started. Knew he looked familiar. And of all people, you bringing that ace? I'm ashamed he has to see this place in this state. We've gathered a crew to get the shelter back on its feet. Please give us a chance. Merrick lit up when he heard someone wanting to revive this part of the mountains. Maybe this really is a chance to bring life back to the valley. You're tugging at my pride now. I'll need to think it over. Look, you found the owner. Mr. Kaminsky, a pleasure. Likewise. Shall we get to work? Sun's going down fast. We'll need food, firewood, heating. Nights up here can get treacherous. Let's start by clearing out the garage. We're gonna need a snowcat. The garage is where? Oh, there you are. Add worker.
Job's a job.
And we repaired the helipad already because I was just like, alright. So interestingly enough, that one has a cold symbol. Let's get them both to work on it.
Will be done in no time.
Oh, those voices are quiet. Alright, hang on. There you go. And I have noticed, I believe Francis gained 1 gear, and Eva gained 1 gear, because it was 2 and 4, and now they're 3 and 5. And it did tell me that what'll end up happening is, we'll use up our energy doing these tasks, and then they'll have to sleep to get it better. Desperados is great? Gotcha. Yeah, no, as far as the skybox, I don't think so. Because like I said, I can zoom in and see pretty far out. And don't get me wrong, you can plainly see once you get out there, there's not as much there. But like, not in a way where I'm like, oh no, it looks bad. I mostly want to be able to see in here better. But the issue is when I zoom out, I can't turn the camera. So like, very genuinely, that having like nowhere near as much saturation, I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me. But it would be nice to be able to, like, in the area I'm in play, be able to move stuff there. I don't think so, Yannick, because the audio definitely did not work with the cinematic so far as settings. Garage is clear. What is this hunk of junk? My friends, meet old Rust Bucket. Looks like the love child of a tank in a rusty bathtub? Snowcats are used for mountain work all over the world. As long as you've got visibility, they're the best way to haul supplies. Before you set out, take out some of my old furniture. Sell it off should cover your starting expenses. Get $1,000 by selling old furniture on the first floor in building mode. Oh, that zooms in rather aggressively. Okay. Selling, so go to building mode. Interestingly, that gave me wood, not money. So we're selling all the junk around here. Delivery. Click on the delivery. Not yet. I don't want to click on the delivery yet. I want to sell all the furniture. No, I want to sell the furniture. Fine. Alright, add vehicle. Add worker. Eva's just better at everything. Okay. Send a delivery for 100 wood. And 100 food. That'll cost me 500, so commence the task.
Consider it done.
Great. Now the snowcat's on its way with supplies. Now let's grab radios. Communication in the mountains is essential. That way we can stay in touch, even when someone heads out on the trail. Testing, testing. Do you read me? Loud and clear. Loud and old. What'd you just say? I still want to sell your old stuff. Let me sell all your possessions. Because very clearly this is, like, non-functional stuff. You just have random bed frames in every single room here. There we go. Nice empty first floor. Okay, so we can wait for the delivery. So if we go back out to the map. How can I see the progress of the delivery? 3 p.m. day 1, food is running low. Or are you just now leaving? Come on, man. We got a schedule to keep. It's arbitrary, and I made it up as we go. Oh, I mean, actually, you're going pretty fast. Never mind. I withdraw my complaints. It's also interesting that those are right next to each other, but we maintain 2 completely separate routes out here, versus, like, just going to town up to the market from right there. Like, going down and going that way. It's fine. It's just, it's a curiosity to me. But that could be me being naive to hiking and all that. Because, like, it'd be one thing if the river was on this side of the town. I'd be like, oh, okay, like, crossing the river is treacherous and all that. But it's bisected by the river, which means they probably have a bridge or something across here. Okay, so you're buying our goods. And meanwhile, our people are back here and doing their stuff. Is Nicholas gonna die? I feel like Nicholas is gonna die before this is over. He's be like, I've been climbing these mountains my whole life. Oh no! Suddenly, the moment someone else showed up, I did a dumb and I got myself killed. Or one of us does a dumb and he gets hurt because of it. Which, fair enough, I guess. He seems very much like the character that they would, you know, make the situation real with. I also just realized that is a wood helipad. I missed that the first look. That is straight up just wood plank helipad. Which is fine, it works. The delivery's back. Time to prep some rations. Alright, go to the kitchen. Add a worker to the kitchen.
I'm getting too old for this.
Alright, so we can cook our food. And I'll do that. Prepare 10 rations using the kitchen panel. And if we have guests, that can become an income. Okay, so you've gone there and you're now making your meals. Okay. I hope you like steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Set all the meals to a level 1 using the kitchen panel. Food's ready. Now it's time to get the heating going. Of all the things that can kill you in the mountains, the cold is your worst enemy. Alright, so click on the building mode. Click on heating. Build 5 radiators or heaters. Where you expect people to spend time on both floors. So I've got fire there. I don't understand. I'm trying to place it, but it doesn't seem to be working. Is there a heat map, maybe? No. Can't place in gray. Oh. Okay, that's interesting that it went that way. Okay, that's fine. So I've got that there. Yeah, so the radiator has a larger radius, but has to be placed in the walls, I believe. Whereas the space heater has a smaller radius, but can be like freestanding and all. So we'll assume we're gonna have people here. We're gonna have people chilling right here by the front counter. Like, it's sort of a red area there. Not sure why it's red, but... yeah, it looks like in this red area I might not be allowed to build. We got that covering that front entrance there. Kind of fighting the camera here on the edges because I want to zoom in down here more, but like I'm hitting a wall. So another content edge, you're gonna have to give me a little bit more flexibility about being able to actually move the camera a bit farther out of the play area. Because I can't really get to where I can get angles on stuff because I'm being like kind of locked in. So for right now, I'm just going to put down some heaters randomly, I guess. We don't really know where all we're going to be setting up. Okay. Turn the heating to at least 20% with all heaters turned on using the heating menu. The heating panel. Okay. So the heating... radiators in place. Time to fire them up. Full steam ahead. Click on the heating panel. Set the heating to above 20%. The man said full steam. You're getting 20% now. Now we wait. Remember, the higher you set the power, the faster it warms up. The faster we burn through the wood. Exactly. That's why it's proper and often Let's see. That's a proper and often heat setting is so important. Less fuel wasted. Okay, so there we go. So now we actually have the heat map. So the curiosity I have here now, you can see the progress of heating panel with open. Now the curiosity is I have the radius there. My wondering is if I have enough heat in an area, would it like fill in this gap? So like over time, would the heat spread throughout this area? Now we've got some heat. Maybe it's time we clean this place up? I don't see any mess. Well, sorry I meant burying a bone in a rubble on the second floor. Maybe Brutus just likes it that way. I'll grab the brooms. It won't take long. Tech tree. Oh, okay. The top side of the tech tree allows you to unlock various facilities. Right side allows you to unlock furniture, downside with the crew, left side with equipment. Okay, so getting extra rooms in my building is how we do that, and it's cash-based. Oh, you a pretty big tech tree. Okay. Unlock a new room in the tech tree. Alright, let's go into the tech tree. So, new room. The one right next to the staircase, right over here. Oh, it's click and hold it. Okay. Unlock a new zone in the yard using the tech tree. A new zone in the yard. That outside zone? We'll get the one right nearby the lodge. Good work, team. Can I finally go to bed now? It's not even that late. Remember, in the mountains, the sun just sets early. Night hikes are dangerous. Evenings are long. Best to use your time wisely. Perfect moment to catch up on shelter duties. We should set up basic buildings. That'll boost the site's safety. We should have enough wood for it. And if not, there's always more to chop in the woodshed. That's wisdom worth hearing. Let's get it done. Zone unlocked. Okay, so unlocked survival essentials. Can do. Allows you to continue Francis's story. Okay, so the tech tree blocks story. Build the weather station. Tip, use the yard view. So yard view. Build mode. You want the weather station. And the woodshed. You ready to go to work, Francis?
I can't wait for the summer. A job's a job.
Okay. No, guys, the sun doesn't set sooner in the mountain. I was gonna say, it's like, I don't think that's true. It's gonna get colder, but I don't think it actually sets sooner or anything like that. But I am liking the number of systems. Like, so far, I'm liking a lot of what they've got going on here. The characters are pretty good. They do have some audio issues and all that kind of stuff, which is a little rough. Maybe because the mountains are higher on the horizon. Oh yeah, like you're in a pocket with the mountains around you. I could see something like that. Yeah. We had like three people saying the same thing. So far I like that. Let's see. It depends if there's another mountain in the way. It sets faster since it goes from bright to dark quick. Yeah. If we take up to be more northerly, then sure. Both winter days are shorter. Any days are longer. Yeah, no, when you go like that, but we're in the Alps. Live just outside the foothills of the Rocky Mountain. It is a thing. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like the mountain's blocking. I didn't think about that side. But yeah, so I've liked that part. So like the audio controls has been one thing. There's like little things like camera control pains and all that we run into. Nothing too dire. Stuff like kind of being able to zoom in. I would like to be able to turn the camera here, either way, like up or down. So I can adjust the positioning. I'm liking the idea of like having to manage a bunch of these stuff. We haven't got to the point of having any guests yet, but we are in tutorial land. Stamina. Workers get tired from their tasks, becoming slower, and taking unscheduled breaks when pushed too far. To avoid this, always let them rest when their stamina is low. By unassigning them from any tasks, you can find them by pressing the right mouse button. So we can boom. That said, unassign you using the right mouse button. We can go to you. You're allowed to take a break. Just for a few minutes, though. Alright, we've already got 10 wood. Alright, so we've got you assigned. Yeah, so it seems like part of this is going to be making sure, like, we swap in people as needed. So, like, here, we can toss Eva on that.
I've got a thermos of tea just for that.
And then once Francis here starts to drop down to the lower level on it. Francis Heartless is close to exhaustion. Consider giving him a break. Yep, I was already a step ahead on that. That we were going to just swap him out. Great job. The woodshed isn't the most efficient thing, but it's a lifesaver in a crisis. Now, let's put up some furniture and make sure visiting alpinists have at least a bit of comfort. That's gonna cost us. Don't worry about that for now. Once our first guests arrive, their fees should cover all expenses. Forget it, no one's set up here and anxious. Relax, I've got a surprise for you. Expectations. To keep alpinists happy, it's essentially to meet their expectations for comfort, recreation, storage space. Check the current expectations in the building mode. Each object you place boosts one or more expectations. Exceeding thresholds raises the level, giving a morale boost to all alpinists, while falling short results in a penalty. Expectations rise with your reputation. The higher your shelter's level, the more demanding guests become. Alright, so we go here. Not building mode there. We want to go into the building here. Build 3 beds. Tip. Click in the right section of the radio tower to unlock new furniture. Okay. Sleeping. Simple bed. Alright. And so now we go to build mode. Comfort. Simple bed. Wait for the mysterious guests to arrive at your shelter. You can track them on the trail map view. We've got everything we need, so let's wait for the surprise. Look at the map. The surprise is on its way. Mayor Natalie, Patrick the assistant, Albrecht the intern, and the accountant. Blizzard comes in, they die on their way. Well, that's the end of this business. Business went under before it started. Yeah. Give me that tech. I got the cash. Alright. Temperature current is warm. Hot, dangerous for alpinists and workers if it's over 25 degrees Celsius. Warm is 25 to 15. Safe for alpinists and workers. Chilly, safe for workers. Heating recommended. Cold, dangerous for alpinists and workers. Trails affected. Freezing, very dangerous for alpinists, workers, and trails affected. Good morning. Long time no see, Nicholas. What's she doing here? And who are all these people? I took the liberty inviting Madam Mayor and her team. Their visits will test your readiness. It will also help me decide whether we can restore your permits, Nicholas. Hold on. We're running this place illegally? At the moment, it seems so. That's why we can't officially place the shelter on tourist maps. If you've been cozying up with the competition, there wouldn't have been any problems. That's not on me. The inspection ruled that your facilities were far below standard. Mr. Kaminsky told me you're trying to reopen the shelter. I'm glad to see. I'd be glad to see for myself. We're ready. We won't let you down, Madam Mayor. Alright. Faulty delivery. From the open supply crate wafts nasty, sour stench of half-rotten fruit. Unfortunately, it seems someone on the crew mistakenly ordered a few hundred kilos of spoiled potatoes for compost instead of top-shelf tasty deluxe ration. No time to wonder how this happened, or who's to blame. Everyone knows. Action is needed. Guests are starting to catch a whiff. Maybe toss in a soup they won't smell that bad? Alpinist event. Minor penalty. Just dump the whole lot. This is pointless. Minus 50 raw food. You don't have enough raw food. That's not fair. I can't just throw the rotten potatoes away because I don't actually have the rotten potatoes. This feels like this shouldn't be a thing for this dialogue. Like having a selection with these as your options, but this. Well, definitely going to make my crew deal with it because it's our crew's fault, so we can turn them all against each other. Because the guests are money, the staff is expendable. I mean, it's okay. Ugh. I had a feeling things were going too smoothly. It isn't the first time. Running a shelter is never an easy business. We need to act fast. Fresh supplies are a priority. If you got the funds, hiring a helicopter would be smart. Air transport doesn't care about mountain terrain. The only things we need to worry about are weather and the bill. I think I know someone who can help with that. Don't tell me you've got a pilot buddy. Let's just say I have a friend in a mountain transport company. I'll give you the number, but I'd rather not get directly involved. Okay, acquire 100 raw food using the service there. So delivery. We're gonna do air transport, which isn't as much we can do. So I need 100 raw food. We've already repaired that. Set double meal using the kitchen and wait for the selected time. Build enough furniture to rise one expectation factor, surpass that. Tip some objects in the right section of the tree. So we will commence a task that costs 400. So we can also go to the building mode. Actually, the tech tree. We can get ourselves some seating. Some surfaces. And some media. Because we have a bunch of money. I'm a liar. We don't have that much money. We had a bunch of money. We don't now. But we did once upon a time. So let's go ahead and we got our money here. Got some armchairs there. Put a rug down. I can't put it there. That's fine. Got a magazine rack. And a radio. Salvage one sounds less risk than to boil them. All that. When you compare the chairs, it's a massive room to heat. Yeah. Okay, so we got some more money. I'm assuming because of our guests. Oh, and
Hello there, my dear.
stop working in the woodshed. Go look at our tech tree. You get a chess table, a standing clock. A simple sofa allows the story to continue. And go here. Okay. So technically just shoving more beds in there improved the overall stats and everything. Okay, now I need to go to the kitchen and set double meal using the kitchen and wait for the meal. Oh, set a double meal. Okay, so lunch we eat hearty. We'll add a worker. You're all fresh, so get to work, Nicholas.
Of course. You and your ideas.
Okay. Right, so we got our prepared... Yeah, so we got prepared meals down here. Our raw food down here. We have our overall guests. They're all neutral. And we have, of the 7 guests we can facilitate, we've got 4. I feel like the devs missed out by not putting an image of fondue set for meals instead of the steak. Oh, that could be fun. Yeah, it's fine. It could be a thing that we get later, is like fondue options and whatever. I am feeling, so far as assigning tasks like this, it does feel like eventually we're going to need some kind of automation to that. It might be in the tech tree. Does he have equipment? Yeah, so all that has to do with that. So kitchen upgrade. Increases the speed, increases the speed. Yeah, because I'm trying to see... I feel like at a certain point when it comes to managing those tasks... Okay, those are all skill training for the characters. Increasing their... Yeah, so each character has their own skill tree, and then there's like an overall stamina and all that. Oh wait, what was that? I saw chef level 2. The task can only be carried out without ground vehicles using air service companies. That action does not require an assigned worker, but does involve additional transport costs. For tasks performed by air service, the attributes of the given company will apply. Hello, everyone. Great to start another partnership. What have you've got up here? Hey, that was some lightning fast delivery of yours. I just hope I didn't beat the cargo up too badly. If anything's wrong, let me know. Francis Harland, I presume? Wow, that name brings back memories. Memories? I'm pretty sure we've never met. You have a relative named Eva. I used to be with a girl by that name. We were engaged once. Maybe. Never heard about that one. Wait, what's that? She's gonna stab us in the back and run off with the competition? Excuse me? What are you talking about? Out with it, kid. No excuses. I won't let one of my workers sell us out again. Worker? Eva works here? That's wonderful news. Where can I find her? I've missed her. We've got so much to catch up on. This has to be some kind of mistake. You've got no business here, John. Eva! We ordered a service, not small talk. Could we at least... No, absolutely not. We don't have time for this. Forget it. Or maybe just... I said no. Alright then. Call if you need any more runs. I'll see if I can get my boss to cut you a discount. Hey, that was rough. You really deserve to be brushed off like that? He seemed like a decent guy. Trust me, he's not. He's a total jerk. You just have to take my word for it. Man, he did say we get a discount. Let's see, in the winter we eat meat fondue every week or so. Such a fun meal. Alright. So we did set the double meal and wait for the selected meal. So that's lunch. Alright. My assuming is the game will escalate as time goes on, where it gets like cold. Not Frostpunk where everyone's dying or anything, but like we'll end up having like a blizzard, and because there's a lot of stuff around medical and support and all that. Oh right, the thing I wanted to check is Chef 2. Yeah, because my fear I'm looking at with this is because we have these like energy bars, that it's going to be one of those things that like running the hotel, if you decide to like make this like a long form play, that it'll be kind of this somewhat obnoxious thing of continuing to, you know, up, this person's tired, take them off, put the next one on, and rotate through people kind of thing. I could see burning out in that pretty quickly.
Just another day in the old freezer.
All right.
Chop,
Your
chop.
turn to cook. So we're waiting for lunch. At lunchtime, they will go and have that all sorted. So we've got one of our guests has moved up from being at neutral to having a relatively good time. What do they actually say? Was it good? They're happy. So we got 3 happy guests, 1 neutral guest. Because yeah, it's gonna feel like a lot of juggling that kind of thing is my fear. And maybe it gets better with time, because like it could even be that I'm making way too many meals up front or something like that.
It'll be done in no time.
But I am liking a lot of the stuff we've got going on here, that you're gonna build this up. I kind of like the idea of getting access to more of the rooms being locked behind the tech tree. So like you can do that. It's a little surprising that the tech tree is just straight up cash and not its own thing. But that's kind of fine. All right, so you're already tired.
Of course, you and your ideas.
Okay. Would shelter finish? Oh yeah, it builds instantly. There's no workforce input to tech tree. Right. It definitely feels like there should be some kind of like, either you choose the thing and the person works on figuring it out or prepping it or whatever. Or you have some like you gather the resources ahead of time and then you apply it. Like the research bench kind of thing. It feels like there should be something like that. So like for the cleaning the rooms example, that one's kind of an easy one that you would select the research and you just see the person in the room. It doesn't even have to like graphically update, but they could just be in the room working, and then after like 5, 10, whatever minutes, the room's done. But so you kind of like that it's just money for realism standpoint. So many games, it's like, why do I have to invent something that just stores just to sell? Don't they need a dining table to eat? No, they've been getting the food themselves.
40 years ago, it was much easier.
Everyone's busy. Maybe the perfect time to stash that bag. If even the old man stumbled across it, I'd be in deep trouble. Move. You won't spill the beans, will you, boy? Can help me find a good hiding spot? Woof. Atta, partner. Let's get to work. I found some perfectly good wood in the old man's cellar. Crisis averted. You all did great. Now I just need to keep the meals coming and make sure the mayor doesn't freeze. If the guests head out on the trail rested and satisfied, the risk of accidents drops a lot. Sometimes it pays to go the extra mile for people tackling a tough climb. Better safe than sorry. Let's see. Open the trail map. Alright. Path segments are the only way to travel across the Croton region. To build a path, select the path segment, select the point on the map, the shelter or a peak, then click on the target and to connect it. You can also click on the empty spot to create an immediate point from which you can continue the next segment. Depending on the slope the terrain paths run, the segment line will change the difficulty, represented by the color of the segment. Try to match the difficulty to the expected traversal of the guest or worker using the segment. So, okay. That was a lot of information. As you currently don't have a path connected to the Chilcra slope, you will need to build one if you want to complete the task. Open the building menu. A segment. Okay, so there is a lot going on here. Build a path leading to a trail task location. There is a lot going on here. So we're way down here. Trail task. As the target is connected, send out tasks. Click the button to continue. Set up route. Risk unknown. Confirm route. So we're making this satisfying your fondue with people. The kitchen location feels weird. I guess you'd put the dining tables in the raised L section, since that's where guests get their meal. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's where the tables were vaguely there, the broken up ones. Commence task?
That's the job.
Alright. So we'll let that work for a minute. Yeah, so clearly we still got the mob thing going on. Where we're laying low and all that. And so it's not even to protect us. Whatever the bag is that's the problem that we brought with us, it looks like we're going to hide it up here. Which is kind of a weird thing, because one would assume to get up here you'd have to do all sorts of transportation that cause that. But it looks like there's tons and tons of different areas we go to with different challenges for all those kind of marks. Okay. And it does seem like it kept that consistently at a 1 difficulty, I think it was. By just kind of staying at the base of the mountains, just following the slopes up. Francis, where were you? We need you. Oh, you know, wasn't feeling too great. Had to step out for some fresh air. Must be the altitude and the thin air. Right, that must be it. I just remembered to breathe less or something. Very funny. Nicholas, does that trail up the mountain we visited back in 25 still exist? Is that some kind of courtship? I'm not looking for a bride. Heh, ever the sharp one. I just thought I'd show our town hall crew the best this valley has to offer. I don't doubt it. Can you believe not a single one of them has ever climbed before? Crazy. The old trail up Sturmspitz? Probably buried long ago. Most of the old routes are gone. Nobody's restored them in years. Maybe we could rebuild them? A wonderful idea. Remember, a good trail network serves at least 2 purposes. First, it uses the natural terrain to get climbers safely to the top. Second, it caters to very different groups of alpinists. Meaning, leisurely trail for beginners is a whole different beast than a challenge for the pros. Then maybe we should start finding out the mayor's tastes. Alright, alpinist groups. Alpinist groups. Click on the group for more details. Click on the group's type. So they're a casual stroller. Here you can see the group's traversal. Their climbing skills, the higher the difference between it, the trail's difficulty, the higher risk of accident. Groups. Here you can see the group's goal. If you don't have a trail leading to it, you'll need to leave the shelter. They'll leave the shelter disappointed after 2 days. Now we know that the mayor's a casual stroller aiming for a spirit ball. Let's line up that with our notes. So I can click on this, guest book. This is the range of traversal alpinists this type can have. Level 2-3. These are the desires of the group. If your trail has these tags, they're more likely to take it, and they will reward your reputation. Slope between 10 and 15 degrees, forest, and a vista point. Everything suggests the ideal choice would be a gentle trail under 45-degree incline. And it better run through a forest at least for a stretch. Amateurs do love those snowy landscapes. So, we're making a route. Piece of cake. Remember, just marking the route isn't enough. What are we supposed to do? Hold the tourist's hands too? Very funny, Francis. A trail still needs proper preparation. Exactly. Once a route is marked, it has to be secured and clearly signed. On the tougher stretches, it's worth adding barriers or safety chains. What's next? A cable car for the lazy ones? For those who want a view, cable car is actually a great idea. Only once the path is marked and prepared can you set an official trail. This has to lead from the shelter to the point of interest. Okay. Using the trail list menu, build a new trails and see existing ones. Click on the new trail. If the trail is too long, alpinists risk traveling at night. Include camping points for your long trails. Alright, so search for the mentioned goal. I can't see it because you forced me to go trails now. Alright, so search for the mentioned goal. Alright, so let's see what her thing was here. So you wanted me, guest book. Oh, where was that? The Alpinists, you want to go to Espirtball. So we want to find Espirtball is over here, which is right next to us. So that's actually not too bad. So trails, create trail. From Oh, I have to not set the route. I have to build past segment. I'm not trying to cross. I want to connect it. There we go. Oh, but you want it to go through the forest at some point? But it's right there. Do you want me to go past the forest? Well, the camping was if the trail was too long. I don't get how to change that. Remove segments. I don't see how I actually make it happen. So remove segment. We highlight that, it's highlighted. We click that, we click that. Okay, I see. That is not at all intuitive. Okay, so let's go get the past segment. Yeah, so we go over there, it changes the flag to be forest. Okay, that'll work. Sure. So with that, we can now go to the trails, create trail, boom, boom, boom. Confirm route, trail name, Mayor's Nonsense. There you go. Okay, we got our trail mapped out. Now someone need to head out there and mark it in the field. A whole lot of work. Isn't there an easier way? Like I said, up here, there's no shortcuts. Safety comes first. Enough clowning around, Francis. Time to work. Yeah, I'm on it. Vehicles, do this. Francis, I'm gonna make you do it because you whined.
Consider it done.
Seeing the contour lines would be helpful? Yeah. No, it definitely feels like that view could use a little bit of work. Oh, I have to unpause. Ultimately, the big thing that was kind of the problem I ran into was when it came to deleting it. The idea is you click the first one, you click the second, it creates a checkbox. That's not super intuitive that I need to click on the checkbox a second time. I almost feel like it'd be easier for me to click on the line, and then it just give me a conversation like delete trail or whatever. So I got them their forest thing. We kept it all at level 1 between 10 and 15. Great work, team. The mayor will be heading off soon, which means it's about time for me to go as well. You're not staying with us any longer? I've already taught you everything you know. You need to safely get started. The rest will come with time and experience. In the mountain, nothing replaces practice. You're always welcome here. Of course. Keep your eyes open. I'll drop by again sometime. We'll be glad to see you. Bloody hell. He's leaving us at the mercy of the old man. Darn it, Harland. What have I done to dear Pedro to deserve this? They did such an amazing job. They're leaving the shelter well-fed and relaxed. The view's absolutely stunning. I'll tell you the rest when I get back. All right, dears. Finishing my report. Where do I turn off the radio? I'll do it. Hand over the headset. Ever the picture of gratitude, that one. Apologies. No worries. I bet Nicholas has been worried sick about our ragtag bunch. Thank you so much. It was truly a wonderful stay. I've missed that valley view more than I thought. And you did a fantastic job fixing up that trail. So you liked your stay? Oh, it was utter crap. Absolutely. City Hall won't shut up about this for weeks. My dears, I think it's safe to lift your suspension and start sending folks your way. That's amazing news, thank you. Unfortunately, that's not all.
She's always got a butt.
Legally, you're still non-compliant with all regulations. But, since we go way back, Nicholas, I can bend the rules a bit. Let you start earning again. But that said, every mountain shelter in the area has to meet certain standards. I'll leave you a list. Always with the rules. Mark beam up. Burn content was successful. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things. It's like, I've taught you all you need to know. I don't know, we don't have basic medical or rescue or anything else that's kind of important for this, but sure, we've got all we need to know. In a few days, someone will come check. If everything looks good, you'll get your permit. But now that you can bring in income, it should be easier. Anyways, I've got to run. Stay in touch. Take care and good luck. Thank you again. Safe travels.
Finally, she's gone.
If she'd stayed up here one more day, I'd have to see we barely heat this... Sorry. If she stayed up here one more day, she'd have seen we could barely heat this ruin. And those clouds. How are a bunch of climbers ever going to find out about us? People have been wanting to explore around Coratan again. Once word spreads, we'll be packed. That's true. People used to come even when the trail was closed. We just need to wait. I'm all for waiting, under a blanket. I'm dead on my feet. I should turn in for a nap too. We've got to prepare for the crowds. I can't wait. Alright, so we got the equipment panel, so that's interesting. So we'll go here. There's a filter, which... Oh, that's not a filter. Okay, so... Yeah, it's not a filter, it just lets me, show the tags on my trails to show, like, what's what difficulty and all that. Oh, that's interesting. So she just said, like, everything's good, you did a good job, and there goes the mayor heading out now. So they just got, like, a little continuity error in the demo where you actually get the success before the thing finishes. Reputation. Reputation is the measure of the popularity of your shelter. Higher reputation brings higher entry fee, making you earn more money and more guests. To increase it, Alpines have to complete their expedition safely, fulfill their desires, and deal with events, quests, and rescue missions. Snow Mush. Increased traffic at the shelter has led new guests attracting more and more slushy mud into the entryway. In the warmth, it quickly melts, creating an ever-growing puddle of snowmelt by the door. Let's see. We can increase the cleaning at the entryway, which upsets some of our people. Introduce a rule requiring all guests to change out of their wet boots before entering the shelter. We'll also create a minor penalty for our workers. Don't worry about it. It's just water. What's the worst that could happen? Nicholas and Francis get an injury and Nicholas gets hypothermia. Well, considering all workers have a minor penalty, all workers have a minor penalty, injury and hypothermia, I think minor penalty is the other one. Honestly, I would be in favor of being like, hey, you gotta change out of your boots while entering the shelter. Order a footwear swap. So overall, because we're going to probably get ready to switch demos here in a minute, I've liked this one. It's interesting that they've got this story going on, that, you know, you've got some mob ties of some sort, and you're kind of out here to deal with some bag of something or other. And at the same time, like, you're also running this lodge and all that. So that's kind of curious. Overall, I like the idea. Obviously, we haven't gotten to delve in it too deeply yet, but I don't want to sit here and spend, 8 or 9 hours playing on one demo. But overall, it's left me with a good impression. I certainly could see this seems like the kind of game I'd absolutely come back to when it's finished as well. It is curious how much the management gets to later, because right now we have just the one room. It does look like we have a pretty significant one, like all that kind of stuff. I didn't even realize we had like chessboards and all that up here. But we do have like a good handful of rooms. What is... Oh, it's just the shine. It'll almost look like smoke from it. It's like, what is that? Just the light on it. My only complaints I've had really with it is the cinematic didn't respect audio settings, but it was just the cinematics that was the problem. That's a classic. It happens all the time, but it does need to be addressed. And then the other thing we kind of ran into was like little preference things. Like the UI for here for deleting a part of a trail, where you click this, and then you confirm kind of thing. That's very unintuitive. Like I said, I think a better way of doing this is instead of having where, you know, I select one spot, then the next spot, then hit the checkbox. Instead of going with something like that, instead I would click on the line itself, which would then, you know, signify those, and it can just have like a little prompt that's like delete trail. And also, as another option, when I go like this, that did it in one click. I don't know why that did in one click this time. But, the other option is, like, I could click on those and just hit the delete button. But, like, that one could use, like, a little love. Because that wasn't super intuitive. It left me a little confused at first. But yeah, otherwise it's been pretty good. When did the ghost from The Shining turn up? That's why it's abandoned. No, it's, But yeah, so I'm curious. It does seem like there's going to be a decent amount of depth. We look at this tech tree here, and it is substantially large. Now, that said, it does look a bit larger than it really is in practice. Because we look at a lot of this is our new rooms. Where, in a lot of games, you would buy the rooms just as an upfront. So this is unlocking the rooms. This is unlocking the outside zones. These are upgrades for that stuff. I don't think any of that's bad, but it does make it look like there's more going on here than before. This is all your furniture stuff. That's fine. This one, it's weird, because these are effectively your employee training. And so all these ones with the photos are for training individual people, and then you've got, like, these handful of ones that are prerequisites to train people or whatever. I don't think that's bad. It's just a different way of approaching it. I don't think it's terrible. And this stuff, I don't have any comments about. Like, that's just upgraded equipment. The one other concern I have right now is just the idea that we have to assign our workers. Now, granted, it might not be as bad as I was thinking before, because it seemed like you're going to want someone on the kitchen regularly, and then their stamina bar drains, and you have to manually unassign them kind of thing. And I was like, oh man, that's going to get super tedious, like assigning and unassigning, assigning and unassigning. But it actually looks like... It actually kind of looks like we have our raw food. I prepared ourselves 112 meals, and I just don't have to deal with it for a while. What's the anticipated price? Oh, we have no idea about that information. I'm not sure they have an idea about that information. We don't even know when it's coming out, but... Like, as far as the game being good, bad, or otherwise, I like what I see, and I am curious to see it when it's, you know, quote-unquote, more done. Because this does seem like the kind of game I would absolutely enjoy. I do, like, it's very Tycoon-esque about running a hotel. It just happens to be that's a ski lodge, and there's all the other stuff going around. So we completed that objective, and we got our next one. And so our next objective is effectively, basically, prepare a trail to the new location. I also like the idea for something unique that this game has I haven't seen, is this whole trail thing, so that we'll be making all these different trails to go out. My expectation is there's a maintenance on trails of sorts, that every so often a trail will get damaged and I have to send someone out to, like, remark the trail, that kind of thing. Or it could be, we did see that it mentioned blizzards. It could be something like you have a major event, like a major blizzard comes through and it effectively wipes out a bunch of your trails, and they have to, like, rework them. There's a couple different ways that could happen. But we definitely see there's a temperature outside that changes. And that, you know, like, there's a wind factor, There's a snowfall. Oh, you know what it could be with the wind factor and all that? You could have your advanced trails, like going up on these mountain peaks, that you, as the person running it, would have to make the decision, okay, even though the guests want to go out and do the trail, it's dangerous. We're going to close it knowing we're upsetting the guests, because otherwise they'll get injured and that'll be worse, you know, for your reputation and all that. But I like where this is going. I like what we got here. Yeah, I don't think they have, if you do ! Steam, I don't think they'll have a price or anything. Yeah, Frostpunk moments. Here, I could go ahead and try this. I don't think they have a price for it. I don't think they have an, you know, release date or anything like that. Yeah, so it's saying released April this year. Obviously, that's in the future. So it does sound like they're aiming to have the game ready for release by April, which granted, like I said, there's been a couple things like audio and camera, but the gameplay itself, we didn't run into any like major bugs. We ran into a couple confusing UI things. But overall, I like the vibe. I think it's going to be a pretty solid game. I don't think it's going to be like an explosively, like, everyone's talking about it kind of game. But this one definitely feels like it's going to be a good one. So of the games we played so far, where we did, it was Above the Snow, Everything is Crab, and Rome... It wasn't Rome Break. What was the name of the game? Is Rome... What was it? Romestead? I think it was Romestead. Of those games, like, all three of them felt good. Romestead feels like the game you lose a lot of hours, that you burn 100 hours on. Everything is Crab feels like the one you jump in, just have a silly fun time, do your roguelite stuff. This one feels a lot more like in the area of, like, 2 Point Museum. You sit down, you get a decent number of hours. It's not going to be an incredible number of hours. We gotta sit there. Let's see, could you get to your shelter connected to Chillcrest Slope? You started the demo because it looked cool while you're playing, but you got stuck in that part and you're wondering if it's a bug. Yeah, no, I got it to Chillcrest Slope. It took a little figuring out, so I just kind of followed the river up this way kind of thing. And it took me like I tried to put the pin the first time and it wouldn't let me, and I just kind of moved the pin over and then it was fine. So I don't know if it was a bug or just, you know, kind of not understanding, because there's like the severity stuff. But yeah, I was able to get it to work. And then we set up our second trail up to Espirital and all that stuff. But yeah. Now, if you did run into a bug or something that you don't understand or whatever, it is worth reporting it to the devs. I do think I'm going to take the time to mention that trail confusion on the UI and the cinematic volume, because those are like, one is player confusion thing that I'm willing to bet a lot of people do the same thing, where it's a very different system from anything else I've seen, that it's very unintuitive to like click, and then click the checkbox that is the path. Like click, and then a prompt is a little bit easier. It's just a trail task. Oh, weird. Your path menu hasn't even done that. Huh. Yeah, no, I don't know what to answer. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and save that, even though most likely this being a demo, either our save won't move forward. I'll be starting new. So bear with me, chat. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go to the main menu real fast. I need to use the restroom real quick. If you're watching over on YouTube, again, the stream's going to have to drop because I have to switch categories. And wiring up the host and all that is a whole big thing. So yell at YouTube for not giving us an easy way to roll from one stream into another when category switching. But in the meantime, I'm going to drop that over there on the YouTube side. Let me go ahead and get the poll for our next game going here. For checking out another demo. And we can go from there. So, what game is next? Because we are trying to just rotate through a bunch of different demos, being like, that one looks good. You know, we haven't hit anything that hasn't been good so far, which is cool. Let me go ahead and put Mr. Farm Boy. Let's see what else we want to do here. Thank you for your application. I'll have to abbreviate it because I can't make it that long. Let's see. Farm to table. 2 more. Antivirus Survivors 2003. I can't fit Pro on there. And 1 more. Steel Artery. Let's see. Steel Arty Train City. Okay, so we're getting our poll going up for what game we're going to be playing next. So we've got Mr. Farm Boy. It kind of starts like Stardew Valley, where you plant, you hoe, you plant the seed, you water the crop, you harvest, repeat. But it breaks down to like macro scale automation, all that, where you get like all these different workers to help you and do all that kind of stuff. So it's not an incremental game, but it'll give you kind of that feeling with the scale you're going to go. We've got you. Thank you for your application. It's very Papers, Please, but retro graphics. That ultimately you're dealing with hiring people for a company. And I don't know how like chaos it gets. You have farm to table, where it looks like there's part of it is you're doing the farming, then you're taking those goods you farm and turning them into goods, like, you know, final products like flour, bread, or whatever. And then you have a separate part where you run a shop as well, and it's the whole thing from there. You got Antivirus Survivors 2003 Professional, which is sort of a Survivors-like game, but it is aesthetically looks like Windows 95, 98 ME, Norton antivirus, just nonsense and whatever. And then we got Steel Artery, which is a train city builder. So like you're on this train and you're building your city on top of the train that moves around and all that stuff. So that's what we got going on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the YouTube stream for a couple minutes. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then I'll come back. We'll start whatever game wins, and we'll keep this thing going and trying some more demos. This is going to be probably like my big Next Fest day. There is a good chance, if we have like 1 or 2 standout demos that I want to check out after this, great. But this will probably be the day that we're doing all the Next Fest stuff that I'm going to cover, because there's just too much. And it can be very rough to switch game again and again and again. Alright, so I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and thank you again for tuning in.